Happy New Year! We can only say that a couple of times during the year, right? And otherwise it gets old, but Happy New Year! I like doing that. New class going to be starting on Course in Miracles. So I'm going to pass the sheet around if that's of interest to you. Talk to William and Sandra, or I know there's a number of other people in the audience that have it. And I have that. You were asking about that prayer last time you were here, and I have that for you. So. How about T-shirts and sweatshirts? All right. I should be given an award for keeping my mouth shut when there is so much that needs to be said. When you can't find the sunshine, be the sunshine. Punch today in the face. Okay. I meant to behave, but there were too many other options. Can I have that? Yeah, can I have that one? Yeah. My favorite colors are black, dark black, pitch black, pastel black, light black, and faded black. So, assuming you like black. So, our patron saints, George Carlin and John Lennon. And John said, I believe in God, but not as one thing, not as an old man in the sky. I believe that what people call God is something in all of us. I believe that what Jesus and Muhammad and Buddha and all the rest said was right. It's just the translations that have gone wrong. And George, if all of our national holidays were observed on Wednesdays, we could wind up with 9-day weekends. Well, and I have to tell you ahead of time, now that Jan's not in the room, I have two jokes that I have at the end. I was going to tell one if children weren't present, and another one if they were. Either one of them is going to get me in a lot of trouble. So, and people are going to go, I can't believe he said that, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, if a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music he hears, however measured or far away. I like that. Henry David Thoreau. I'm going to do one more just because I like this. This is a great book. Josie gave me this one. A cheerful heart and a smiling face pour sunshine into the darkest place. Absolutely true. I still have a microphone in my pocket. Hopefully everyone had a safe New Year's and wonderful. It was great. We have a new puppy. We had fireworks going on outside. Slept through them. I think she might have raised an eyebrow, but that was about it. I was like, look at all that noise. So, where was I? Okay. The mind's direction is more important than its progress. Every extreme attitude is a fight from the self. I don't know. Our minds are lazier than our bodies. And that's really saying something for some people. So. Gore-Tex. I always kind of wonder what Gore-Tex was. I've got a jacket from the Korean Olympics. It's made out of Gore-Tex. But Gore-Tex, the breathable composite polymer used to waterproof and windproof outdoor gear, is simply stretched Teflon. I did not know that. The substance used to coat nonstick pans. So. Okay, let's see, not that one. Why is lemon juice made from artificial flavor and dishwashing liquid made from real lemons? Why is the time of day with the slowest traffic called rush hour? Why isn't there mouse-flavored cat food? Toby, ask Toby. She'll know. She'd like it. I know. See, I was going to say that, but see? Oh, I know. Jan and I have thought about this for 32 years, that, we could have made so much money by butt-flavored dog food. I'm sorry. For anybody on YouTube, that's what she said.
I
so.
actually found some mouse-flavored cat food
Yeah?
somewhere. It wasn't a big seller, by the way. The cat hated it.
Okay. When dog food is new and improved tasting, who tests it? Why didn't Noah swat those 2 mosquitoes?
Exactly.
Why? Tell me why.
And the flies.
And the flies. Oh, this one was.
All of the bugs.
We've all possibly have done this one before. Patty was driving down the street in a sweat because he couldn't find a parking spot. Looking up to heaven and said, "God, take pity on me. If you find me a parking spot, I will go to Mass every Sunday for the rest of my life and give up the Irish whiskey." Miraculously, a parking spot appeared. Patty looked up again and said, "Never mind, I found one." Yep. All right. Okay. No kids. All right, then. Oh, well, that's true. That's true. All right. And like I said, I'm going to be in so much trouble. A little boy got on the bus, sat next to a man reading a book, and noticed that his collar was on backwards. The little boy asked why he wore his collar that way. The man, who was a priest, said, "I'm a father." The little boy replied, "My daddy doesn't wear his collar like that." The priest looked up from his book and answered, "I am the father of many." The boy said, "My dad had 4 boys and 4 girls and 2 grandchildren, and he doesn't wear his collar that way." The priest, getting kind of impatient, said, "I'm the father of hundreds," and went back to reading his book. The little boy sat quietly, thinking for a while. We all know that's not good. Then leaned over and said, "Maybe you should wear your pants backward instead of your collar." See? Barely, she was in shock. She was in shock that I actually said that one. Yep. Well, it was either this other one would have got me in trouble too, but maybe not that much. So, all right. So, moving right along. Yes. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. So we got the raffle tickets in for the quilt. We are going to start selling them now. This is the quilt that'll be auctioned or raffled off at our expo in April. But we found that when we purchase the tickets ahead of time, then people can take them home. If you are able to sell them at work or to your friends and family, they are $5 a piece. I have envelopes here of 10 tickets each.
They're really cool tickets.
Yeah, they look like this. Very nice. They have the picture of the quilt on it, the price, who it's going to, and a bunch of other stuff. The ticket goes to the purchaser, the big one with the picture, and then the little stub comes back to us. So if you're interested in taking an envelope with tickets, there's 10 in each envelope, and then bringing back the stubs and the money to me, then let me know, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 envelopes right now, but I can make up more if you need them. Put that back in there. And I think that's all.
Oh, okay.
Give it short.
So
Okay.
who wants one now? Who wants a packet now? There's a hand. There's a hand.
So I got the numbers on the front there of what numbers are inside each one.
No harm, no foul if you don't sell.
Yeah. Just bring the tickets back, please.
We can't.
Is that everything?
For our trouble.
And thank you so much. This goes towards our expo in April, and certainly it's our biggest function of the year by about this much. So.
And Chris Powell's the one who makes these.
Yeah, Chris makes them and donates it to the church. Anybody know how much effort goes into those things?
A lot.
Oh my gosh. So,
Very expensive, so. the
yeah,
price
not
is
cheap, that's for
perfect.
sure. Yeah.
Good morning. I am so excited for today. Got a ton of cool stuff that Dan McDonald and I are going to team teach and share with you some really cool process. So we're looking forward to that. And before we begin, let us start with a prayer. Would you join me in prayer, please? Loving Spirit of Light, as we sit here in this sacred space, Help us to notice the space that we're in. And help us to just be in this sacred space and be aware. Grant to us a stronger connection. Grant to us wisdom. These things we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. So, without further ado, I probably don't need to introduce him, but the gentleman coming up forward to speak to us today has been with us for quite some time, and you will know him for his Native American walk, the Good Red Road, isn't that the Good Red Road? And his insights as we do our guided meditations. So without further ado, take it away, Mr. Dan.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's give her a hand. We use our hands to show appreciation. We use our hands to reach out and touch. We use our hands to see in the dark. Although if you're anything like me, my toes don't always find the same places that my fingers do. What's up with that? Shake hands with somebody. We use our hands to connect. So doesn't it make sense that we could use our hands as a mechanism by which we can continue our spiritual journey? So today, we're going to talk about the path of the sacred handprint. You all have pieces of paper. You all have things to write with and on. Now, the only real rule for this is to use the hand that you don't write with, and there's a reason. The hand that we write with is the one we do most of our things with, and it's usually the one that's strongest. It's also the one that's more resistant. And what we want to do is be very vulnerable and very open in creating this path. And the resistance won't help us any. So, one other thing we do with our hands, when we're surprised, what do? Or we do this. We cover our sacred center. When we're angry or we're afraid and we back up, what do? We cover our sacred center. So our hands are used for a variety of things associated with our sacred center. Call it your heart space, whatever. You've heard Janice use a lot of phrases. Today, sacred center. So, your thumb, place it on your sacred center. And let that connect for just a moment. And once you've done that, remember the energy that you've transmitted from your sacred center to your thumb, because that'll be important later on. So, now you get to be an artist. With the hand that you don't use for writing, place that hand on your paper and trace it. I'm going to get real big here so you can see what's going on. Trace it on the paper. Just trace your...
With your dominant, trace our dominant hand.
Use your dominant hand to trace your weak hand.
Okay.
Thank you for helping me clarify that. When it comes to drawing, even my dominant hand's pretty weak. I'm waiting for the heads to come up, so you've got that much done. Now remember, this is the path of the sacred handprint. You have already imbued your hand with the sacredness of your sacred center. So it's already there. So once you have that done, for the 4 fingers, think of a single word. And for each of those fingers, write the word down.
May I walk them through that process?
Sure.
So let me help you with finding a word. So you have your sacred center as your thumb. So you might want to make sure that you're all connected. Here's the point. You're all connected in. We don't perceive that we're connected in sometimes. We feel like we're just this lonely leaf in the wind and life is just blowing us around. But that's not really the truth. The truth is we're always connected. We don't always discern or notice or acknowledge the connection that's already there. You're born with that. When you're born and they disconnect the umbilical cord, you're disconnected from your mother, but you're never disconnected from spirit. You're always connected in. This discernment that we're going to be utilizing today in discovering the words and fulfilling this process is an amplification of what's already there. This is nothing new. How many of you ever had a, gosh, you know, I really wished I'd listened to myself when I said that, or when I did that. Or darn, if I'd only just listened, I should have picked that up when I thought about it. It's already there. You're already getting inklings. But tapping in more fully and more clearly with your intent is going to amplify that for you, and so that you're more in tune and that connection is stronger, and you'll get more guidance more often, more clearly. Wouldn't that be lovely? That would be very lovely. So in order to create an opportunity for you to receive these words, there's a million words in the world. Good grief, books and books and books and books. Dictionary is this thick. You know, there's a lot of words that could come for you. But let's allow Spirit now to help guide you into finding words that are appropriate for you for right now, for our process, to discern your next steps, your next goal, your next part of your journey, to clarify you for right now, okay? So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to use your hands. And we're going to just sweep our body, sweep our aura. We're just going to kind of go over everything, kind of, you know, what you're doing is you're collecting clutter. You got that clutter? It's there. You feel it, right? Now lift that clutter up and give it to Spirit. Give it to God, higher power, all that is. And let it go. Let it go. And just come back to center a minute, back to your sacred center. You might want to put your thumb back on your heart space. Now, how do you feel? Do you feel a little less cluttered? Okay, clutter will be a block to keeping us from that connection. I want to share with you a couple of verses from the Bible that I think are really, really important. Because that clutter, Proverbs 3:16. Actually, the 3rd chapter of Proverbs is all about wisdom and acquiring wisdom. But there's one little thing here that I would like to specifically point out for you. Verse 16, long life is in her right hand, and in her left hand are riches and honor. Wisdom is really, really important, because we can go through life reacting. And what happens when we just react? Yeah, no. Not good. But when we're intentional in our life and we're moving forward with this discernment process active, and we're being guided in what we do, good things happen. Good things happen. Now, another little tidbit about wisdom. The first time I read this verse, I was in high school. And some of you remember that when I was a kid, my dad's word for me was stupid. So I thought I was just stupid. Heartbreaking as that sounds, that's how it was. James, the 1st chapter, verse 5. Get this. This is the one that changed my life. This verse changed my life. But if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all men generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him. Way cool. My dad may think I'm stupid, but I can pray for wisdom. And you know, I think God followed through on that, didn't he? So how beautiful is that? So when we're connected, we're in this clear space. Now we can connect and ask for divine wisdom that augments our intellect and grants us visionary experiences, insights, intuition, all of that. And that's what we really want, is it not? Okay. I think I'll save that other one for later. So now that we're clear, and now that we know, we've talked a little bit about this connection, are you having a sense of it? Now for me, the sense of it is from my heart space up through to the top of my head and out. Your connection may feel differently than that. Some people I know feel a connection from the back of their head, and that's why you bow when you pray, because the connection is right there. Some people feel it from their heart space up. Some people feel it being grounded into the earth. I don't care where you get it or what it feels like to you. This is not up to me to say this is right, this is wrong, and you got to do it my way. I don't care. What is your connection like? Do you not know what it feels like? Now's your moment to find out. Now's your moment to discern. Ask for wisdom, and it will be granted to you. This discernment and connection is part of the wisdom process. So however you may tend to feel that, maybe you feel it in your hands, hold your palms up. However you feel that connection, allow yourself to open that up more fully, recognizing that there is a divine source that wants to give you wisdom. And now, open yourselves up and ask to be given a word, any word, and see what comes through. You got your word? Write your word on one of your fingers, not the thumb, but any of the other fingers. Any finger that feels right to you, because that's going to be significant for you. Have you got your first word? All right. Let's do that again. Deep breath in. Exhale. Open up one more time. God, grant me a word. And see what word comes through for you. Whatever that word is, place that on the next finger. Whichever one. In order, mix them up, I don't care. No wrong way to do this. And let's do that again. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And now on the inhale, connect up. Ask to be given a word. And when you receive it, write it down. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. On the inhale, ask for it to be given a word and receive that with gratitude. Allow that word to come and write it down. What words did you get? What are some words you got? Yeah. Forgiveness. Who else? Expansion. Compassion. Happiness. Peace, love. Huh? Wisdom. Gratitude. Cool. Is this fun? And could you feel that when you were struggling before to find 4 words, there was like, I don't know what word to get, and there's a million. But when you opened up and felt the connection, it was just there. It was given. How beautiful is that? Take it from here, Mr. Dan.
Did you notice how much she used her hands? This is what we're about. In many cases, it's our hands. If you'll allow, I'm going to tear this down and redraw it because it's not anything like I would like to have in any art book. But if I redraw it this way, it looks sort of like a hand. For me, my words were grace, power, love, and integrity. You all have 4 words, right? Now, here's the next piece of this. I would offer to you that Creator, through your hands, can help you discern the next step along the path. So, put your hand back on your drawing and just let it sit and see if you can feel a tingling, or if you can see a light, or if you can somehow sense which of the next waypoint on the path you're going to traverse.
Starting with the thumb.
Starting with the thumb, okay? So what you'll do, there'll be some sort of a linkage from your thumb, which is now the sacred center, to one of these 4. For me, it went directly to love. That was the most prominent sense that I had.
I would suggest sacred center thumb, and then running energy up your first finger, up the second finger, third, fourth, and see which one is strongest, or look at your hand, see which one lights up, or which one pulsates. There's no wrong way to discern this. Just see which one has more energy for you at this time. Remembering to ask Divine Source for that wisdom and that guidance, that insight and that input.
So once you have some sense of what the pathway is beginning to be, as an example, for me, it went from sacred center directly to love. The next piece, and thanks to Janice for this, take your sacred center and put it on the one that most resonated with you. And your 4 fingers are now physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Which of those 4 constructs is important for you on the next path for you? Now, if you can't come up with anything, don't worry about it. Either it's not time or you're blocked. In my case, there's a huge blockade right here. And I have no clue whether physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual is the right way to go first, second, third, and fourth. What I do know is that all of them are going to be important. And what Janice is now going to do is speak to you about how to remove some of the blockages to get you to that next step.
So, first of all, let me check in with you. Were you able to discern which word had energy for you? Everybody got that? All right. So the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects, let's chat with those just a bit. Physical has to do with your body, has to do with your career, has to do with action to take. Mental has to do with what you're learning, what you're knowing, what you're exploring. Emotional has to do with relationships. Has to do with where you are in your tribe, where you are in your space, how you relate to others. And spiritual is about your spiritual journey and how you relate to spirit. So how many people got physical? Okay. And what was your word? Yours was forgiveness? Love. And you love in the physical form? Okay, so this is how to manifest love. That's what this 2020 is all about, really, is how to manifest that, how to make it into this physical realm. You have a lot of love in your heart. How do you manifest that, right? Tracy, you also had physical?
I did.
And what was your word? Persevere. All right, so this is how to stand your sacred ground in this year. How to persevere. We were just talking about your goal is to be. That's a form of perseverance. And it's not that, okay, I gotta. It's about being. And that perseverance is this dedication, this ongoing physical activity of being. Does that make sense how that works? Okay, anybody else get physical? Yes, sir. Courage. Okay, that's how to stand your ground. How to be, how to show up in your own life, how to be vulnerable and real. Marlena. Commitment. And that was physical also? So this is okay. What's your goal? If you're committed, then you'll have action to take to get to the goal. Does that make sense? It's kind of like perseverance. Yeah, Allie? Power. In the physical realm? Okay, so there's all kinds of physical power. That could be healing.
Very specifically, take your power back.
Oh, take your power back. Okay, so there's physical action that you can do to do that. And that we're going to take the next steps here that might give you more information on that. But one of those things can be sometimes when we sit, we kind of sit. And maybe this is about sitting and stepping into your power physically that other people can read and get the information. And it could be standing up for yourself and when somebody tries to bully you over. But we'll get into more of that. But this is taking your power back on the physical realm, which is action. Yes? Clarity in the physical form. Okay, so your body may need some cleansing, may need some clearing energy or some rebalancing energy work, that sort of thing. Yeah, Leanne? Vulnerability, and that was in the physical? Okay, so to be physically vulnerable, takes courage. So this is about, right, doesn't it? Okay, so this is about being real in your own life. If you don't like something, it's going to take courage to say, that's not for me. I'm not okay with that. Does that make sense? And if you want something, it takes courage to step up and take the next step to make it happen. But again, the next step is going to reveal more on that for us. So let's see who had mental. Who had mental? Yeah? And what was your word? Perseverance. So your mind has a lot of power in your world. And what your mind is telling you is, or what this process is telling you, is that it's time to use your mind to create perseverance for yourself. So it's affirmations, positive thought, or noticing the negative thought. This is not eliminating the negative thought. It's about, oh, look, there it is again, and persevering through it. Make sense? Anybody else have a mental? Yes, sir. Awareness. How cool is that? So this is bringing awareness into your mind. So again, praying for wisdom, allowing that to light up, and allowing that awareness to guide every moment. Make sense? Okay, emotional. I'm sorry. Did you have one more in the? I have no. In what was the word? Serenity. So guided meditations, or keeping your mind in a neutral state so it doesn't get too far one way or the other. So finding neutrals, finding sacred ground mentally is going to be really important for you. And again, the next part of the process may clarify some of this for you. Let's look at emotional. Anybody have emotional? Yeah. Val? Sorrow. Okay. So this could ask you to, and this was emotional, so this is asking you to embrace sorrow. It's part of life. And transcending it. And how to transcend that. Because it's here. We can't run from it. We can't squash it. And the more we try to deny something that's that impressive in our life, the less vulnerable, the less real we are in our world, and the more struggles we have. So this is about embracing that and transcending it. One more, yes? Mm-hmm. Joy. So emotional joy. What brings you joy? Allow yourself to enjoy life. Whatever you're doing, bring joy into it. Does that make sense? Yes, ma'am? Peace. Similar thing. Whatever you're doing, be at peace. And there's that, let it be. And that's very similar to what Nancy had, and that's finding balance. Finding emotional balance and being at peace with what is. So there's a surrender piece that may be perhaps part of this. I used to think surrender was giving up. It's not. It's being at peace with what is until it shifts. Make sense? All right. What about the last one was spiritual? If you have more questions, we'll get to it later, but I want to get through our process. Yes, sir. Stillness. And that was in spiritual? Yep. All right. So stillness in that spiritual, that's, again, that finding that center, but being present. Being present. You've heard of the small, still voice. That's connecting in spiritually on a higher level than maybe you ever have before. Got it? So that's that piece. Yes, ma'am. One more. Oh, I love it. Spiritual experiences, because yours is kind of like mine. This is being able to notice and identify God working in your life. God, higher power, all that is. All that sort of thing, whatever word you want to use, that there are specific ways that Spirit now wants you to know, I'm working in your world. And wants you to perceive that, notice that, and experience that more clearly. Yes, sir?
I had one with mental is faith.
Faith? Yeah. Faith in the mental? Yeah. Okay, so faith is evidence of, what does Hebrews 11:1 say? Faith is the evidence of things not seen.
Evidence of things hoped for.
Evidence of things hoped for.
Evidence not seen.
Hebrews is right here. Hebrews 11. 11:1. Faith is the assurance of things not seen or things hoped for. Let me read it right. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction or the evidence of things not seen. This is NCIS spirit. How did that happen? I don't know. What's going on with that? Look at it. Examine it. Look for God in everything. Everything. I'm sorry, I'm getting fired up. Apologize, but I'm not sorry. So let's, yes, ma'am.
Mine was light in the mental.
Light in the mental. So seeing light in everything. Even stuff that you would judge as bad. Oh, that's a bad thing. See love and light in that. I have a flat tire. Oh, I'm going to be late for work, and this is a bad thing. Oh, well, if you bring light into that, then all of a sudden now this is a moment where you can be still and pray. Yeah, you don't have to get spun up about stuff. It's about bringing light into everything you think, everything you say, everything you do. There's light there, find it. Okay, make sense? Notice it. That's the mental part, noticing it. So, are we ready for the next thing? I think I'm ready for the next thing. Okay, hit it.
Some quick insights. William, the light of who you are in the awareness is already there. As you brighten that light of awareness, you will draw others to you, and you will help them become more aware. Right. Spirit, stillness. If you are willing to let the shuffle of your questions settle, it will be there. You will see it. If you are willing to trust in the assurances of your mental abilities and capabilities, that assurance will guide and bolster you as you go forward. So, now we have physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all well and good. Okay, now what? So we have this. We now have, for me, love. We have the sacred center going forth, physical, mental, social, emotional, spiritual, whatever one you chose. The next piece of this is which action or set of actions are appropriate to undertake along this pathway. Now, whether you've recognized it or not, you already have 2 waypoints along your path. You cannot get lost. You cannot get lost. The next piece of this is, what are the actions now going to look like to take you to the next place? Whether you're blocked or whether it's not time or whether there is something specific for you to do, Janice will now take a moment and speak to you about some of the actions you can then take. When Janice is done, you then have the path of the sacred handprint to guide you from this point forward into action for the next step in your life.
Is this fun or what? So let's talk a little bit about blocks. Because blocks are going to show up right now. Because there's a part of us that goes, I don't want to do that. I want to stay stuck. And
Janice, if I might.
yes, please.
I don't want to do that. I'm afraid to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want what's coming on the outside because I know I got to stand up to it. So it's not just I don't want to do it. There's a variety of reasons by
Right.
which some are fear-based, some are anger-based, some are just lazy, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But all of these need to be dealt with in order to get past it and into the actions that Janice might suggest.
So let's take just a moment and allow Divine Source to bring to us willingness. You don't even have to be willing. You can be resistant. It's okay. It's all part of the process. It's a part of this journey that we're on towards the evolution of our soul, the ascension path. And having that resistance is this beautiful opportunity to get out of our own way, because we're the resistance piece. Didn't we just read that Divine Source willingly, without hesitation, without reservation, grants us awareness, grants us what we need? So let's just do this again. So take your hands and we're going to sweep, sweepy, sweepy, sweepy. And we're going to lift that up and let it go. Let God have that. It's there We've earned it, but for now, we're just going to let it go. All right, and then bring your awareness back to your sacred center. And let's take a few breaths just right here and just be here for a moment. Just be. Be in your sacred center. You don't have to have the answer here. You don't even have to have the willingness here. All it's required is for you to be. You're showing up in your own life right here, right now. You're true to yourself. You're being honest and real. That's all that's asked of you. So now, just allow yourself to be. And as you look at whatever your word was and whatever your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual set was, and ask to be given 4 action steps. And allow yourself to receive the first action step and write it down. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Inhale again and ask to be gifted with a second action step. And when you receive that, write that down. Deep breath in and exhale. And on the in-breath, ask, connect in and ask to be gifted with that third action step. Deep breath in and exhale. And on that intake of breath again, connect in and ask for that fourth action step to be gifted to you. You're laughing, I love it. You want to bring them home with this last part?
And it's okay if you didn't get all of that. There's other times. There's other ways that Spirit can bring you to the blockade and break through it. In my particular case, I know that for me, love goes to spiritual. And I have 2 action items, the first of which is to believe that Creator loves me. And I spent a lot of my life not believing that. I still only about half believe it. And I don't know, I want to try to be willing, but I don't know what it's going to take for Creator to get me to believe unequivocally that I am loved by Him. But it'll come. I don't have to worry that it's not here. None of this process need bring you worry. None of this process need bring you anxiety. This is your path of the sacred handprint to Creator, to the answers, and it will come as you need, when you need, and how you need. I only got 2 action items. The first of which, do what I can, if you will, to give more than lip service to Creator. I don't know what that means yet, because now I have an action step. I can take yet the next step and say, okay, what does that action mean? Lay it out for me so I understand. This process can continue as many times as need be until you find yourself at the point of the answer, if you will. It's very simple to use, and you can continue to use it. So for me, giving more than lip service, I think part of it is helping Janice and Phil and doing what I can here to help others. The second part I'm not sure about, but all I got to do is put a question mark up here. And Creator will provide the answers, whether it's here through Janice or through one of you. William has helped me more than once. A lot of you have. Don't ever be afraid to lay this process down, and don't ever be afraid to get lost, because you can't. It is your pathway to the Creator and to Creator's answers.
So on your piece of paper, it would help you if under your word you put whichever modality that was. So for Dan, it was spirit. So we're going to put a spirit there. And then were you able to receive your 4 action? Okay, now lay your hand. Give each finger an action point. Can you do that? Of course you can do that. Would you please do that? So each finger has an action point to take. And from the same thing again, your sacred center now, is it action 1, action 2, action 3, or action 4? Which action? See what lights up for you. See what energizes for you. And then we're going to put them all together and create an affirmation or a positive forward motion statement for yourself. A directive. Even if your directive is to be. Yes, ma'am.
Somewhere I lost a thread when we're talking about the emotional, mental, spiritual, and
Were you able to choose that? Mm-hmm.
are we saying that's for each finger?
No.
Or
No.
that's what
So what was your word? Love. Which finger was your word? Index finger. So here you had the word love. All right. So here, now is this physical love, mental love, emotional love, or spiritual love?
that's what I was trying to figure out where I was determining that.
Which finger lit up? Which finger had the highest energy? So again, that was physical. That was physical. Physical love.
Okay.
So physical love is about bringing love into action. Manifesting love in all that you do. Whatever you do is an expression of love. All right? Did you get your 4 action things? Mm-hmm. Okay. So now we're going to pretend there's another handprint here. We're going to take the thumb on that, and here's your 4 action statements up here. Which one lights up? Okay, breathe. Bring your energy to your sacred center thumb. And which finger feels a throbbing, a tingling, an action? That one? Okay, read the statement for that one.
That's where I'm not sure. What do you mean, the statement for that finger?
Okay, what was your third statement? Your third action?
Is accept what is given.
Accept what is given. Okay, so you have love in the physical form and accept what is given.
Okay.
Is how you can manifest that.
Okay, I'm with you.
Does that make sense? So the next part of this process then is to create a statement that formalizes that or creates a formula for you. So you could say, by accepting what is that what you said? What was your statement?
Accepting what is given.
Accepting what is given. By accepting what is given, and which it was physical, by accepting what is given in the physical realm, I manifest love. So acceptance is a real powerful part of this love piece for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And the fact that it's a little foreign to you is exactly why you need it. If it was easy peasy, you wouldn't have needed this process, right?
Sure.
Okay? So who else? Yes, sir.
And physical courage and then let it go. Those titles of all.
Oh, physical courage and let it go. Okay, so a statement of that could be, by letting it go, whatever it is, by letting it go, or by having the courage to let it go, I stay true to myself. How does that feel? Feels right on for where you're going through, right? Mm-hmm. Who else? Mary Lou, you got a puzzled look on your eyes.
Okay, mine was emotional. And if I did this right, each finger takes one.
No. Let me do it this way. So you're going to start with 1. 1, okay? And this one you had your words. So this was sacred center, and then here was a word, here was a word, here was a word, here was a word, right? Right. Okay. So which word in which finger lit up for you?
Okay, the first one or for the emotional, physical.
No, just give me. I'm gonna chart it out for you.
No, I'm sorry, you can't do it. No.
So you know what to do with these. So 3 days ago about sunrise, Spirit said, I have a message for you. It was first thing in the morning. And to go along with this, Spirit said, clap. When you feel stress, I want you to clap your hands, William. That's something physical to do. Whenever you clap, follow this message back, beginning with peace. Awareness, love, and compassion. And that's how to treat yourself. Whenever you're feeling stress, anxiety, something's coming up, there's physically something to do to go with this process.
Amen to that. I just want to remind you before we wrap up that if you haven't already received it, the calendar for this month has a gratitude, appreciation, and acknowledgement sheet on it. I was given a calendar. I have a friend who sends me a calendar every year. She's so sweet. And I am writing my gratitudes, appreciations, and acknowledgements on my calendar every day so that I can look back on that if I'm having a bad moment or a bad day. I can look back on something that I felt gratitude for. And here's what happens. When I read about that, gratitude is reactivated within me. The appreciation is reactivated in me, and the acknowledgement is reactivated in me. And so my energy level goes way up again. So like clapping, it's another tool, another practice for us. Nancy has ordered more of these little books. When they come in, there's a few still left in the back. When they come in, we can use these for this same process. So if you have any questions about how to implement that, let me know. Please use that, because can you feel how you feel right now after this process? Write this handprint process in your journal. And then every time you go back and look at that and read those words, this energy comes back to you. It's a power tool, and you have the right to that. So utilize that tool as best you can. Yes, Phil? I don't have sign-up sheets yet, but we're looking at the expo just around the corner. I'll have more information on that coming up. Oh my gosh, 2020, best expo ever coming up. All right, so stay tuned for that, more information. Hast thou a closing song?